Hello and welcome to Thursday night Fading Suns. I got it right this time. Didn't say Thursday night tour. Thanks, Lily. I am Jane, your GM. This is Lily playing Perpetua, and if you were not here last week, we are doing a special sort of introspective focused on Perpetua and what is going on. The group went through the jump gate to leave known space and head into the Voldrox lands, and something happened, something reacted, and Perpetua kind of fell into herself and went falling down the the rabbit hole, if you will, of her own mind, sliding down on a pile of skulls to the sounds of ravens' wings
There's
beating around you and feathers falling down as you kind of landed. Everything is dark. And as you sit there, kind of waiting for light, waiting for the cacophonous sound of the clattering of skulls and bones as you land in this ossuary pit, you can hear the flapping of wings, and you clearly hear the sound of a voice as dry and as rasping as a cold wind over dry autumn leaves. And what you hear is, "You are mine. None shall take you from me. 3 times I have marked you, Perpetua. Once on Antioch," and you feel a sharp pain in your left wrist. And as you look down, you can see the talon of a raven's claw punch through your left wrist. Once on Phlegathon, and you feel another like raking down your shoulder of just blood and claws kind of tearing through. And once on Lemminkainen, and you feel a third stab kind of down the back. And on each of these, you can actually, even though the wound, the claws retract, the talons pull free, you can feel there's something inside of you trying to get out. You can feel the pain of a thorn in your flesh, in your left wrist, in your right shoulder, and sort of along the back of uh, your left, like the left side of your back and your neck. And as the voice starts to rise again, you can hear something else. There's a rumbling. And again, kind of up in front of you, you kind of fallen into this valley between skulls. And at first, all you hear is the sound of chains rattling. Not a very violent sound, not a very cacophonous sound, almost like a gentle rustling, slowly rising up over uh, the sound of the bones. And in the darkness around you, you have the valley of bones rising behind you, the valley of bones rising in front of you. And suddenly you can see light shining in, a pale blue light shining in between the cracks around the bones. And as you do, the voice once again says, "No, this one is mine, marked thrice, thrice damned." And as this light kind of rises, well, I'll just let him take over from here. What do you say to that?
Ho visto lo mappamundi e la carta di navigare, ma Sicilia mi pare la più bella di questo mondi.
Care to translate for those?
You own nothing, not even your own being. Begone, spirit of darkness. Leave this child of the Pancreator. You own nothing. Only deception, and you, above all, are deceived by yourself.
There is this shattering sound and this rumbling noise, and while you do not feel as if adjust my camera there for a second, as you do not feel the thorns in your flesh leave, the light comes shining across at you, and from the pile of bones you see Father Bell step out, carrying 3 great stones chained to his back, not bowed, but weighed down. And as you watch, as his light kind of spreads to kind of take in most of your field of vision, there are cracks that form, and the bones, at least in front of you, all tumble away, and you can see yourself at the base of a dark mountain with light, possibly light, far up overhead. There is the sound of ravens' wings as they disappear, and Father Bell stands before you, looking very much like he did when he was alive, but there are subtle changes. He seems younger, yet weighed with these stones. He seems brighter both in eye and countenance, and yet you notice he casts no shadow, while yours stretches quite far behind you. What do you do, Perpetua?
As always, I have a lot of questions.
Go for it.
But I mean, obviously the first one is, how are you here? Where are we?
Well, I am in a place of waiting. And perhaps now I will be able to make progress. I have tasks left unfinished, and by the grace of the Pancreator, the wisdom of the prophet, and the footsteps of the saints, we are brought together. And I sense that it is obvious you are troubled, and there are many obstacles before you. And I'm sorry that I have not been there to help you, but I'm here to help you now.
I just, I left you all behind at Phlegathon, and I don't know if that was the right choice, but I felt like I had to keep going and tell your story. And now, but I saw you. We were underground, and you were there, but nobody else could see you. And so now, but Jexa and I think Calypso, they've got their own writers. So like, how do I know it's you?
I do not know your companions, but we do know of those who have had the intercession of dark forces, and it's fair for you to wonder and doubt. Let me share with you why we are still together, and this is difficult, but we have unfinished business. I was meant to be more of a guide to you than I was, and I lost my train of thought. I lost my path. I thought it was time for me to put my burdens down. I I don't know if this makes sense to you, but there were only a few of us there on Phlegathon to know what happened. And you passed through the darkness. We came, above all, to ensure that you left Phlegathon, that you were freed from the grasp of Ashkagael, and then to do what good we might. So you wonder if you were right to leave us. And I say that there was but one purpose to us going there, and that was to recover you and to see that you went on. It was I, Brother Gabriel, Runner, and Cutter. And there in the dark pit, we were confronted by the demon. And also Brother Gabriel brought out a sinner, Jeremiah, that Ashkagael too claimed was hers. But his punishments were things that he had earned, but his soul was not hers. All souls belong to the Pancreator. The spirit is beyond destruction, and no one can bring an end to the spirit, which is everlasting. Ashkagael could play her games and torments, but even as this man that Brother Gabriel saved from his torment lost his life, he passed beyond Ashkagael's games. So we were all there together, and you saw, at least in part, and heard from Cutter how Brother Gabriel confronted the demon, how he was filled with light, how he went beyond the bounds of his mortality and confronted the demon and banished her. At least that great part of her that was seeking freedom. Now, certainly a deceiver could try to whisper these things to you and make them convincing, but I think there are too many details to think that this is all a deception. We have a task yet before us, and I can only walk with you for a little while, and that is my fault. And so I have just one last confession. These burdens I have, the black stone, my errors, and the white stones, those things that were left for me to accomplish, which I let down and set down my burdens too soon. When we confronted Ashkagael, and I saw my friend, my Brother Gabriel, stand against her, it came into my mind as I was injured, poisoned, confused, and afraid that I could stay within the radiance of Brother Gabriel's great courage, that which had protected me so many times, and I could choose to stay with him and lend my strength, but strength he did not need from me. Others needed it. Now, I told you to go on. Our last words. You said, "Shouldn't you come with me, Father Bell?" And I said, "I'll be along presently." I needed you to be able to escape. We were there for you. And I would have been a burden to you. I was gravely injured. But my mistake was not in holding you and in sending you ahead. I I should have done nothing to hold you back, but I should have joined you. If I had turned to Runner and asked her to take me out of there because there were tasks yet to be done, she would have had the choice to carry me out. She had the strength, and it was her decision. She chose to stay, but she was not asked to make another choice. And Cutter too. And if I had spoken up, how much easier your path would have been with Runner, perhaps with Cutter, with me. And so in not speaking that, in not hewing to the path that was clear before me, but succumbing to the temptation of a hero's death, I misstepped on my path. And so I'm here to walk with you a little while until my task is done, and hopefully to help you. But you have nothing to be ashamed of. You passed through darkness, through your own death in many ways, held by that foul creature, unrepentant and grasping, and pieces of her that I should have known were still out there continue to impede the work of the prophet, the Pancreator's plan, and the guideposts laid by St. Beatrice.
St. Beatrice guides us still. Runner was my salvation. She called the ship that came and rescued me before Phlegathon, collapsed. I'm still with the crew. I see purpose in what I'm doing with them. As I said, other members of the crew have also had their brushes with demons. So I feel like I'm the best equipped to, help them with that. But I, do wish you were with me.
I have been permitted to communicate, but now that it is the turning of the tide. But the future is not yet certain, other than in its ultimate end, which is in the victory of the Pancreator. But now it is our actions that will count for the fate of many. And you see how she fears you. See how she is enraged by your
interference,
your defiance. But there must be darkness to see stars. And so we must navigate our way through these dark times and these dark shards that will not heed the laws of the Pancreator. But we can take steps so that you will be ready. And for this journey, for this short time, I am with you, and I believe when we finish, then you will have the tools that you need. So many times the Pancreator I have called on powers and for guidance, and I have been told, priest, you have already the tools that you need. And I believe that you will have those when we finish. And perhaps at least one of my tasks will be done.
If you can pass the tasks to me, I'll make sure they are completed.
They are my tasks. You have your own. You walk your own path. And I am here but to help and guide you for a short while.
As the two of you kind of stand there and Father Bell mentions the path, you can see that there is a very rocky path up to kind of this first tier, which is shrouded in light. But as you look at it, Perpetua, you can sort of make out it seems to be a gate of some sort, and there's the shadow of a figure in front of it. But you would have to traverse the distance to do so.
Our way is up the mountain. And there are things that I know and things that I guess of our journey. But we only accomplish it by putting one foot in front of the other.
I always take the next journey in front of me.
This is one of your great gifts. And I do reach into my robe and pull out my well-worn Omega Gospel, marked, and it's and Perpetua should recognize it. It's one that I've always had with me, and anyway, I just hold it against the sort of mantle of fine chains that bind these stones and locks to me.
All right. Perpetua, you are the one who has to sort of figure out what's going on. So what do you do?
I'll lead the way.
All right. As you begin to ascend the mountain, it is rocky going at first. There are brambles on either side if you stray a little bit too far to the left or too far to the right. Plus, your wrist, your shoulder, back just ache. You can feel it. Feels as if, even though you look at it and there's no wound, it feels as if something barbed and sharp is digging deeper into your flesh.
Mm.
But as you start to ascend, you can see there is a gate that bars the path up ahead. A beautiful gate composed of crystal and light and silver. And standing in front of it is a man in simple robes, much like Father Bell's robes, with a rope belt around that cinches it around his waist. And you can see hanging from this belt are two keys, one of pure silver and one of pure gold. And he stands in front of the gate as if this is his sole focus and duty in life. And you can see there that also in his left hand he bears a naked blade, and it catches all of the light, and it is almost too bright for you to look at. It's not like it's made of light or of flames, but depending on how the light catches it, you are sure it is both and neither at the same time.
So it reminded me of a wire blade?
It does not, save for the fact that you have seen such blades used by Gemma. And so there is a certain familiarity in the stance and in the casual familiarity with the blade.
Greetings.
The person sort of looks at you and says, "You are not dead. You have no place here on the mountain. Turn back."
I can't. This is my path, and I must follow it.
He draws like the blade is still out, and he takes a step in front of the gate. This is no place for you. You have not been summoned.
How could I be here if I was not summoned?
Father Bell, go ahead and give me a faith plus. Give me a faith plus impress roll.
Ooh, okay. All right. So that's a 14. I roll a 4.
All right. You know that she has been summoned, that Beatrice herself awaits her at the top of the mountain in the stead of the Pancreator, if she can overcome the trials and ascend.
And do I further know that it is appropriate or not appropriate for me to intercede as a as
You
her
are a
guide
guide.
or representative?
You are a guide.
Yeah. Friend, you are mistaken, though it is understandable. This pilgrim has passed through death and back into life, and she is summoned. She walks a special path, and a saint awaits her on the summit.
If you pass through these gates and do not make it to the summit, your spirit will be here until the day of the Pancreator. Do you understand?
I understand. I assume there are others who have not held steadfast.
There are many on the mountain that you will meet. This is no pit, but you must still be wary, for while I guard the gates, there are many who seek darker paths onto the mountain. And he pulls out both keys, and you both see there are words written on them in the tongue of the church. So Father Bell, I believe, is the only one who has those capabilities. And what you see is on both of the keys, there are on the silver key is written in the language of the church, remorse, and on the golden key, reconciliation. And this being puts away his sword, puts both keys into the locks, and turns them, and the gate opens for you, Perpetua. What do you do?
Can I offer him a token? I think that I have collected items from the places that I've gone, and I would like to offer him a token from Lemminkainen.
What is this token? And you can come up with it. Like what?
Yeah.
What?
I don't think it's impressive. I think it's probably like a stone or something that I picked up, while we were wandering around.
He accepts it and smiles. Since the Pancreator first put all of this spinning, with the sound of his voice, I have stood here. And you, Perpetua, daughter of Celeste, are the first to give me a gift. I cannot tell you what trials await, but what I can say is there are 3 things which are both locks and salves that you may find on this path that will be necessary for you to ascend. They are not physical things, but they will bring you to your goal and prepare you for the final stages of your trial. I will say a prayer for you as you journey.
Thank you for your guidance.
All right, as you begin to ascend, you can, as soon as you step through the gate, you kind of look back and the gate is gone. And in fact, the lower parts of the mountain are now shrouded in a cloud where you can see lightning rippling back and forth. And every so often, you can hear wailing coming from beneath the clouds. But as you kind of look up ahead, you can see there are several statues kind of set along the path. As you kind of come around the corner, you can see the path ends at a terrace. And you can see the image of a young woman in very archaic robes, kneeling and looking up as if being told something from on high. A little beyond that, you can see an image of Zebulon, the prophet who wrote the Omega Gospels and kind of built the Orthodox Church, or his teachings are the foundation of the Orthodox Church. At various points in his life, where he is showing acts of contrition and forgiveness and love. And then beyond that, you can see a symbol that you are very familiar with, Perpetua, because Emperor Alexius is possibly the most recognizable face in all of the Imperium. And you can see there's this very strange statue of him in full war regalia. Like, you can see the blood still staining the statue. And yet, he is standing there showing justice and giving this widow, and if you want to give me a Wits plus Academia roll, both of you, you can get a little bit more. He seems to be standing over this woman who's falling at his feet, asking him for something. And as you're making this roll, you all hear this chanting kind of arising from the terrace, kind of flowing down the mountain like a gust of wind. Even as we forgive all who have done us injury, may you, Pancreator, forgive and not judge us. Try us not by our strength so easily subdued against our ancient foe, but set it free from her who goads us to perversity. What'd you guys get?
I succeeded with an 8.
I succeed with a 12 after doing a little funny business.
So what do you mean funny business?
Well, perhaps things don't work the same here. I would have access to the charism of celestial alignment were I alive.
I will allow you to continue to use these graces that especially here. So, as you both look, you both remember this legend that Alexius, after engaging in the Emperor Wars and cutting a bloody swath to unite the known worlds, on his way back to Byzantium Secundus, still fresh with the blood that he used as kind of the mortar to cement the empire, stopped because a widow whose son and lands had been unjustly taken by Alexius's own house, Hawkwood, in humility, just sort of prostrated herself before this warrior, and he stopped in his crusade to render justice and judgment, showing that the throne was not just one of war, but one of humility and justice. And you can hear the sounds of groaning coming up from up ahead and slow shuffling as you sort of round the bend. Do you continue further up, further in?
Yes.
I would like to do a little preparatory magical prayer.
It's just regular prayer. Go ahead.
Well, but I'm doing that all the time.
That's true.
All right. Okay. I bumped my target number to a 19. I rolled an 8, which is a success, and so I have sensed the alignments of celestial bodies around us to the degree that there are, and more importantly, I have put away a little extra die.
A little extra die.
It's needed.
So as you do this, Father Bell, you know where you are. This is the mountain that ascends to the Pancreator's realm, caused when that great fall of they who spawned the legion of the darkness between stars was cast down into the known worlds. They hit, and the impact of their fall raised this towering mountain. And that's the sense that you get. You know that you're in that space. You know where you are. Well, actually, you know where Perpetua is. You know that Perpetua currently is in that split second as ships enter one side of the jump gate and are heading out. But as I'm sure you both know, you are protected from kind of the ethereal forces by let me get my notes pulled up. By this field that protects you from sort of this ecstatic revelation. During the First Republic, it actually caused a whole new religion to arise, and so something is going on here. You don't believe that the Sathra dampeners, which prevent people from having these ecstatic experiences, are damaged, but somehow Perpetua is being given a glimpse of the space between life and death. As you come around the corner, Perpetua, all this is in Father Bell's. He's praying again. It's what Father Bells do. As you come around, you can see that there are people walking around with massive stones on their back, reminiscent of Father Bell's chains. And these people are sort of walking around, and you can see there is writing on all of these stones. And there's a fountain at the edge of the terrace that leads up to the next path. You can see that the path goes on, and these people don't seem to be, they're not really milling about. They're walking about, they're talking with these heavy stones, and you kind of get the people with the largest stones are on your side of this small plateau. The people with the smallest stones are on the other side of the plateau. And you can actually see there are several people who are finally just letting go of these stones, standing upright and going and kind of rinsing themselves off in this fountain before they walk up the path.
I don't have stones, right?
You do not have stones.
Not that I can see.
Not that you can see.
Do any of the people near to me notice me?
They all seem to notice you, and they're giving you very strange looks.
Yeah. Do they notice Father Bell?
They seem to notice both of you, and no one seems to know what to do with you.
Um, I do any of them seem approachable?
They all yeah. There is a gentleman standing right 3 feet away from you, and you can see he has a massive stone on his back and several more heavy stones on his wrists, on his arms, and even around his legs. And when he goes to move, he sort of shuffles toward you. Spirits, what do you do here? Why do you trouble us?
Am I a spirit to you?
This one, kind of, this one does. And you can see the stones kind of clatter against each other. And you can see, Perpetua, you see there are names written on all of these stones and things next to the names. You catch one that says, Justinian stole 700 firebirds from me. Augusta slandered me in front of the imperial court. Josephus stole my girl in grade school. Things like that. They're all their names and their slights. There are wounds. There are things weighing this person down.
So I remember that the keys said regrets and reconciliation.
Yes.
Okay. And I can see the stones.
You can. Remorse and reconciliation. Yes.
Remorse. Sorry, not regrets. Remorse is a much better word. I am Perpetua, and I must follow the path. But what holds you here?
Nothing holds me here. I cannot cross to the fountain, and I do not know why. Another slight against me, one that I will pay back in full.
Against whom?
I do not know. Against whom? First of all, mad props for correct grammar. For the first time, as if noticing, he can see the stones that weigh him down. Father Bell, are you doing anything here?
Well, I mean, this is Perpetua's journey, so I don't want to step.
Do you have any advice?
No, of course. I'm full of advice.
Go for it.
Friend, this is Perpetua, and I am Father Bell. What is your name?
I am Flavian.
Flavian. As Perpetua has pointed out, you are holding things even against an enemy, a rival, an intermeddler whom you cannot even identify. Are these things not too heavy to carry? is it not better to seek to live by doing good and feeling joy rather than holding on to slights and angers and disappointments? Maybe we're here to learn things that did not cause us to do evil, but that are holding us back from taking the steps that we should towards the light of the Pancreator.
Father Bell, give me a presence plus empathy roll. Or sorry, presence plus charm roll. Perpetua, what are you doing as he's saying all of this?
I
He is talking
want
about...
to look at Father Bell's. Is there anything written on his burdens?
There is. You can see on one of the white, because there's one black stone and two white stones, which he identified as the black stone as his errors, and the white stones as kind of his burdens, his duties. And on one of the white stones, as you look, it clearly says abandoned Perpetua. It was not there when you first noticed it.
Right.
I rolled a 3,
Okay.
which is under the 10 that I needed.
How much would you like to spend, Father Bell?
I had some.
You do have some savings.
Up in the bank, so I would like to spend 6.
As you watch Perpetua, as Father Bell is focused on this person, you can see Flavian, like, as Father Bell and he are talking, like, Flavian, like, is picking up his arms, and, like, as you watch, you can see that all of the change which seemed looped around him actually all come back to his hands.
Are being held.
And as Father Bell kind of walks him through this, you see he starts to let go of these chains one by one, and these stones, as they drop, they shrink and fall and join the dust of the terrace. And finally, he kind of is able to stand up straighter. And to your eyes, he starts to fade away. But you can see he starts to walk towards the fountain.
The stones that other people are wearing, are they also black and white, or are they?
They are not.
They're not as descriptive.
Mm-hmm.
But
there are probably 100 people on this terrace.
Right. They could be anything, and I don't know if these people got stuck here. I don't know how these people got stuck here.
That is true.
Okay. I don't see anybody else unburdened, right?
No. You kind of see as people, you kind of put it together that as people become more unburdened, they travel to the other side of the terrace.
So I will proceed along the path toward the fountain.
Okay.
And I mean, perhaps Father Bell can, help me.
I'm here to help.
Release some of these people. Like, I don't have time to talk to all of them, but
You don't. But as you start to move, you clearly see that Father Bell does not seem to be able to cross the terrace.
I see. So I'll return to him.
Okay.
And is he holding his chains?
At least for that stone, to your eyes, as you now see it, you realize that Flavian did not realize that, but it is a chain that he has bound tight into his hand.
Can you, Father Bell, let go of your burdens? The ones that are holding you back?
There's a reason you were chosen. I will try. I've lived a long time with some regrets for my choices. One universal Pancreator, the name is truth, creative being personified, no fear, no hatred. And can I let anything go?
Well, the question is, Father Bell, do you forgive yourself for the choices that you made to leave Perpetua behind? Do you feel that Perpetua forgives you for that?
Perpetua, I know you are but a pilgrim for St. Paulus, explorer, a follower of maps. But there are places that are on no map and that can only be navigated with our hearts. And I will kneel. I wish to humbly beg your forgiveness at a time when you were in need of guidance and protection. I made choices that denied both those things to you. And I carry a deep regret for them. And I ask your forgiveness.
I give it freely, but I don't, you've always been there when I needed you.
So as soon as you said that first part, Father Bell, you realize, one, you are holding holding the chain, and one of the white stones drops, or no, the black stone, the error, drops to the ground. Also, Perpetua, you can feel your shoulder starts to burn, and you see 3 small maggots force their way out from your arm, and they drop to the ground, and they're instantly consumed by flame. You've got blood running down your shoulder.
I dab the blood with, I don't know, a piece of clothing and ask him to continue with me.
All right. As you guys can see that Flavian is there, and he is laving his arms with the waters from the fountain and sort of standing up straighter. And you see he looks up, not up the path that you're heading, but he looks kind of up the mountain. And as he does, he fades from sight.
I should have asked him where he thought he was going, where he thought he needed to get to.
Where we all will go.
Straight to, no. What's one of my favorite Terry Pratchett moments is where Rincewind comes out of the underworld and can see that, like, the stones are all labeled with, I really tried. I wanted to do better. To keep an eye out for, stones that may be labeled with good intentions, because that should tell you what path you're on. All right. So as you guys, what do you guys approach the same fountain? What do you do?
What is in the fountain?
There is.
Where does the water appear to come from?
The water just seems to be bubbling up out of a natural spring, and that they have built a small stone wall only about 6 inches high to contain. And even though the water is bubbling, it never overflows.
And is there like a steady stream of people who come to the fountain? And
there is not.
No, it's periodic.
Yeah.
As people work their way through. Father Bell, I need your guidance. Do I need to bathe in this fountain to continue, or will that not help me?
And do I know?
Well, here's the thing, Father Bell. You know that if this place is what you think it is, this is where the last of the flaws in the soul's mirror are slowly worked away, leaving it bright. So it's not a place of condemnation. It's a place to work out the last little bit of the flaws before you step into the light. Uh, couldn't hurt.
Well, and I am still carrying a couple of stones.
You still have 2 stones left as well.
Stones.
Yes, the
So,
white stones
but I
of
have-
your burden.
Yes, but I have been allowed to approach the fountain. So I'll say, I think that our passage here, we've been allowed to approach here and to move on. We need to cleanse ourselves here and move to where we need to go next.
I splash water on my shoulder first. Does it burn?
You get a weird point, Perpetua. As when you lay the water over the wound, it washes the blood away, but you don't actually see any wound anymore. It's completely smooth skin.
And so next I will put water on my wrist.
Nothing.
Is there a
happens.
difference?
Nothing happens there. All right.
So I will finish cleansing myself.
All right. You can see the path up the mountain kind of disappears into a cleft, like passing through a narrow ravine, and you can see the play of shadows on the wall, and you can actually hear not screams of torment, but cries of fear and trembling kind of coming up from the next place up the path.
Are you ready to continue on, Father Bell?
Indeed,
All right.
The journey still lies before us.
it does.
As you begin to head up Perpetua, it feels as if when you enter this ravine, the light that has kind of surrounded sort of fades, and you come to this small opening in the ravine, and you can see there are a lot of people who are pressed up against the wall, kind of huddling back in the corner, and you can see that the far end of the ravine is blocked by a massive wall of flames, and that the people here in the ravine are huddled on the far side. They're crouched down. They are kind of shielding their eyes from the flames. You don't feel heat coming from the flames, but you can hear their roar, and you can see they rise up 700-800 feet into the air.
They don't remind me of Phlegathon.
They don't, but as you stare into the flames, I mean, you're an Order of St. Paulus, so you know how prevalent fire watching is in some of the cultures, right? Staring into the flames till your mind kind of goes away, and feelings and visions sort of rise up out of the flames. And as you watch, you can see yourself in the flames. You can see yourself on Antioch in those dark moments where running and hiding and fleeing from the confrontation, those were the moments that sort of defined you on Antioch, right? Hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. Let's step away from this. And that was, if you remember, that was kind of where you first encountered Ashkagael in the forest. was when you were fleeing from something else. And right now, you do not want to go near the flames. Like you, Father Bell, as you watch, as Perpetua is looking at these flames, you kind of see her starting to fold over on her side. You can see the blood starts flowing down the back of her neck, and it's pumping, almost as if it's an arterial wound. And you can see she's kind of getting smaller and joining the crowds around her of those who are fearful of the flames up ahead.
All right. Well, I
You want to remind me of
yeah.
how we landed at Antioch in the Shrine of the Flame?
Yeah. Yeah. My friend Perpetua, remember, you are the last living knight of St. Beatrice. Do not forget the hero that lives in your soul. The darkness seeks only to deceive you, to make you feel the pain it wants you to feel the fear, and it is a lie.
All right, Father Bell, I would like you to give me an impress plus presence, or presence or faith, your choice.
Faith.
Good choice.
All right. I'm going to increase that to 19. Math. Roll an 11.
How much would you like to spend on this roll, Father Bell?
I will spend 12.
All right. So Perpetua, from you, what I need is a will plus focus roll. Now, because Father Bell spent 12, you get +6 to this roll. So whatever the value is, you get +6. How do you respond in this moment to Father Bell's reminding and encouragement that you are not alone, and this is not the end of your journey?
So I succeed with a 14.
Succeed with a 14.
Right.
In this moment, go ahead.
Yeah. So I remember that Father Bell was with me when Ashkagael tried to suffocate us in the elevator. And I remember the Lady of the Flame. I remember coming through all of those.
You even remembered in those moments preceding the inverse fire, and that sign of damnation that the Anunnaki in the Anunnaki ruins right before the dragon arose, that Father Bell was walking there with you as well on there. So as you look, you can see that, at least in your mind, Perpetua, that the flames take on this massive image of a raven. What do you do? You no longer fear the flames, but they definitely seem to have changed shape.
Do I still see my reflection?
You do not.
So my reflection has vanished. Is it fear that keeps these people here, Father Bell?
Seems to be.
And we must overcome our fear and finish the journey.
I agree.
What do we learn? We learned about remorse. We're learning about fear. And I approach the flames.
All right. As you start to get closer, you start to feel the heat. You can hear the crackling. You can hear the flames whispering, "You are mine. I will consume your soul. I will write such exquisite poetry of torture on the core of your being." And the head of the eagle or the raven kind of rears back. What do you do, Perpetua?
Courage will now be your best defense against the storm that is at hand, that and such hope as Our Lady Beatrice brings us.
I meet where the eye would be of this fiery raven,
Okay.
and continue on in hope.
All right. You step through the flames. You see Perpetua step through the flames, Father Bell. What do you do?
I am bound to her, and I follow close on her heels.
Perpetua, as you step through the flame, you can feel that wound on your back that seemed to have been stabbed straight into your heart. You can feel the flames just kind of anneal it, and there's nothing there anymore. And as you see Father Bell kind of step through, you can see the flames char one of the chains, holding one of the white stones. And as it hits the ground, it cracks from the heat. And on the inside of the stone, you see "Works Undone" written in the seam where it cracked. This fear that Father Bell had left his work undone. And as you look back, there's no more flames, but you can see, as you look back in the ravine, you can see that each of these people is haunted by some fear, some regret, something that is holding them back from moving forward. And yet on this side of the flame, you can see that all of those fears are nothing but shadows. That there's nothing to fear. You can hear the tinkling of bells coming from up ahead. And you can see, as you kind of make your way through this path, you can see that golden light once again that's sort of enshrouded the top. And you can hear this tinkling noise as if things kind of bouncing off each other.
Ever onward.
Ever onward, towards the light.
All right. As you come around, you start to see scattered coins, firebirds, large gold coins the size of your fist, barter chips from the Voldrox land, all of these Second Republic credit chits, older stranger coins, and they start piling up all around. And yet, as you move up, none of them come into the path. You can see off in the distance that there's no one else at this path. And in fact, you can actually, as you kind of get up here, both you and Father Bell can see that at some point the path diverged. You don't know when, but there are now two separate paths heading towards the mountain. You can see one or two pilgrims on this other path. But as you arrive here, you can see that there are three small pillars. On one is a blade, a magnificent blade, cast of gold and platinum, with the Jumpgate cross set in the hilt. That's on the left. On the right is the most beautiful illuminated copy of the Omega Gospels that you have ever seen. As much as Father Bell's Omega Gospels, they're worn, there's notes, it's well loved. This is the care of generations of artisans lovingly inscribing each illuminated manuscript page. And you can see as the wind kind of moves through her, a very soft and gentle wind, no roaring, no other noises save for the footfalls of Father Bell and yourself. You can, the soft rustling of Father Bell's chains.
Chain, singular.
Chain, singular, thank you. You can actually see that the manuscript, the images are slowly moving. Some, through some eldritch and arcane use of pigment or tricks of the light or maybe technology that has fallen away. And in the middle, there is a blank map. You know instinctually that it's a map, but it's blank. You don't see anything on it. And as you approach, you can see just beyond this area, there is a locked gate, similar to the one at the bottom of the mountain. But you get the feeling that everything is kind of narrowing, everything is focused here.
Here.
This here is why, Perpetua, you are here. And you can feel that splinter, that talon, that thorn in your wrist, as it sort of is working its way down your forearm, like some sort of writhing thing, some sort of living thing, deep in the marrow of your flesh.
So you said there was a sword, and you said there was
the Omega Gospels, and then
the Omega
the
Gospel
blank map.
Oh, okay. So I thought, sorry. Okay. What kind of map is it? Is it a map of land? Is it a map of
as you
jump
start
gates?
to look at it? Good job, Lily. I have another weird point. You'll need them in 2 weeks.
I've spent too much time with you, JM. I know how you like to tell stories.
As you look at the map, you start to see, it looks as if someone has spilled ink on it, like kind of in the center. It sort of blossoms up a deep sanguine color. But instead of pooling, it starts to spread, and you very clearly start to see the jump web map starting to unfold. You see little points of light start to flare up, some of them bright, some of them almost out. But you can see some of them, they red, like the red seems brighter, almost metallic. Lemon Canaan, Antioch, Phlegethon, Hargard.
Does Phlegethon seem bright or dark?
It seems brighter, like that part of the jump gate map. And as you look, these are all places that correspond to your journey with Father Bell, but also your journey with Gemma and Jexa and Calypso.
Father Bell, can I see your Book of Omega Gospel? I take his gospel over to the other gospel, and you know, bring them together. I don't, you know.
Yeah, no, you're kind of like immediately his gospel opens up to the same page that the illuminated manuscript is, and you can see on the illuminated manuscript there is the image of Zebulon gathering people to him and sort of leading them on this new path. And you can see where Father Bell has highlighted, and ever shall the Pancreator raise up new guides to clear the way, or to show the way back to his light. And then both books shut.
I return the gospel to Father Bell.
Okay.
I wish that Brother Gabriel or Gemma was here. Father Bell and I are not warriors. We cannot take up the sword.
Okay.
But I go look at it anyway.
It is an exquisite sword, the kind that Gemma would wield in battle. It is the blade of a saint. It's the blade of a dragon killer. It is a soul's mirror burnished for this purpose in life. The blade is wedded to an edge almost invisible. And you get the feeling that it would cut through pillar and flesh and spirit. But you also get the same feeling like you just said. Neither of you are warriors. Neither of you are theologians. One of you might be. But you both have something in common. Both of you are guides.
You said there was another path.
Yeah, further out, like you can't see it anymore. You kind of have come up to this.
So it doesn't come up to where we are.
It does
It is
not
a different
come-
path.
It is a
different way.
Yeah.
Okay. What else other than the pillars? What else is up here?
There's the vast treasure, the stone walls which rise on either side. You sort of feel like you've heard stories of Calypso stealing the firebirds from the cathedral. This gives you the feeling of maybe like a cathedral vault. And then there's the gate on the far side with a single keyhole in the middle.
I will leave another token. With the treasure.
Okay.
From Antioch.
What is it?
I think it's a piece of the ship that we stole to get to Antioch. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Not the ship that we crashed. That one we got back in. We launched it again, right?
You did.
But the one that we stole to get to the capital.
Okay. It clatters among the coins and is quickly lost as several shift, but it seems as if it was accepted.
And I approached the gate.
The gate
And I
stays
follow.
closed. Oh, go ahead, Father Bell.
Oh, well, I was following her.
Okay.
The gate stays closed.
You kind of push on the gate a bit. And you can see through the gate, because it's a gate. It's not, a door. You can see this vast meadow that sort of leads up to the peak of the mountain, but that peak is completely shrouded in light. And you see someone on the other side of the gate, near that portal of light. She's sitting there, waiting. And you recognize her sort of. It's kind of one of those Flynn Rider kind of moments. She kind of looks like all of the different icons of Beatrice. They're all a little different, but all of those discrepancies are all resolved in her face. She is none of them, yet all of them. She sits there waiting for you. But as you push on the gate, It's closed.
We are in a valley of temptations, and so we have not succumbed to them, but maybe hidden among temptations are also gifts that we have to receive. The sword is not a gift for us, and I already carry the word in my heart, and you spread the light of the Pancreator in a different way. I think the map is for you. Its burdens, its uncertainties, and its promise.
You think it's another journey I must accept?
I think so. Why else would Ashkageo fear you so much?
I return to look at the map.
It again sort of spreads out like before.
And so some of the places that are lit up brightly, they're places that I haven't been, but I know that the old boy has.
Yes.
And
there are also places that you have been as well.
Right, yeah. The places that are dark, are there any that I recognize?
Yeah, you're a member of the Order of St. Paulus.
Well, true.
You know what stars have started to fade and what stars have gone out. What worlds have been lost to the symbiotes. What worlds are disputed by the Voldroks.
I hold my hand, the injured hand, over the map.
Okay.
Do I have a feeling about whether or not I should touch this?
It starts writhing painfully and your arm kind of cramps up.
I accept this purpose. I understand that these lights need to be protected, and if they cannot be protected, then if we can't commit to trying, then we've already lost the fight. And I place my hand on the map.
When you place your hand on your map, it kind of crumples a little bit, and you realize there's something underneath it. And as you kind of pick up the map, you can see there is a platinum key underneath.
What does the key say?
The key here says nothing. But give me a faith plus observe roll, Perpetua. You do have 2 weird points.
Yeah, and I'm gonna
Okay.
I have a weird point if you need one.
Would you like, you could use Father Bell's.
It's not that bad. I'm not that bad at faith. It's just
okay. Plus, well, I think we're in a different scene, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Or are we in this?
You're in the same, like, this counts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have something?
So I got a little ace up my sleeve just in case.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you rolled me an extra die. I'll be okay. What is a 1? A 1 is not like a critical anything, right?
No.
It's just
but it is a success. As you,
okay, great.
How many would you like? Do you want to surge and spend some additional points? How much would you like to spend on this, Lily?
Yeah, I will surge and spend 8.
All right. You notice that the key fits 2 locks. Seems like it would match the gate. But the last of Father Bell's chains has a matching lock.
Father Bell, are you ready to leave this burden behind you?
I am, although I know it means that I will be in a different place and have a perhaps not be in a position to support you in the same way as this grace of opportunity I've had. But I don't have any doubt that you will have the wherewithal to move forward, even if my voice is silent. You will be enough.
I will remember. But I wish that you could stay with me for this last stretch. And I unlock the final chain.
The stone hits and shatters, and you can see as you can see words in the stones, and it says, "Never a lost way, always new guides." And then the key fits into the gate and opens up. And you can see there are several, just a couple pilgrims who trickle up, ignoring St. Beatrice, eyes filled with the radiance that awaits them. And they step, leaving all of their cares behind. But for the two of you,
There's only St. Beatrice.
she turns and smiles, a radiant smile. Something you didn't notice from all of the icons is St. Beatrice is a truly homely woman. The icons are painted through the reflection of love. But here, at the end of your journey, there is no dissembling. And she kind of stands up and she walks up and she takes your left hand, Perpetua, and she draws this massive thorn out of it and sort of just tosses it away. Well done. We do not have much time, but I would offer you what guidance I could, what guidance I can. Do you have any questions for me, Perpetua?
I always have questions, but I think you know what you need to tell me, so I will accept that.
Very well. You are free from Ashkagile's influence. Jexa is not. Neither is Calypso from Azazel's. But much like Father Bell in your life, it is now your job to act as guide to both of them. Know that what you seek is not on Hargard. Seek the aspiring daughter. She will guide you to the Raven's Vault. Do not fear. Fear is but a shadow on the temporal world. Yes, the darkness closes in. It dwells within the very ship that you travel on. But listen to Ercol. He is closer to the truth than he realized. There is no path so dark, no decision so deep, that the light of repentance does not exist right behind. All it requires is someone to turn around and embrace it. And you, Father Bell, I see you have thrown off every weight which hindered you.
There is one last one.
She kind of...
And I pull my Omega Gospel out of my robe and turn to Perpetua. The word lives in me, and I have not needed this, but it has been my friend and companion for as long as I can remember. But it holds me to a life and a path that are no longer mine. So I give it to you. And now I am ready to set down my prior burdens and take up whatever is required of me where I'm going.
Do you take the Gospels?
I will take up Father Bell's role of guidance in the hopes that I can save, in the imperative that I save Jexa and the hopes that I can save Calypso.
Everything starts to get a little bit softer, a little bit more ephemeral as soon as you take up the Gospels, and you hear, "You have finished your race, Father Bell. Come, I will be your guide now."
Thanks be to the Pancreator.
Yes, in all joy shall you dwell, someday, soon, as we reckon it. Perpetua will be rejoined with you as well.
Amazing grace,
Marching up.
how sweet the sound
If we need bagpipes, right? Like,
that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
and you see as Beatrice takes Father Bell towards the beatific vision, she turns back and says, "His race is over. Yours is just beginning." But his endurance did not falter, and neither shall yours. And you feel the ship complete its jump, which causes you to sit up in your bed. There's a thump. As you look over the edge of the bed, you see a copy of the Omega Gospels. And over the comms,
Familiar.
a very familiar copy. And over the comms you hear, all right, everybody, Captain just made transition. We're heading in-world to Hargard. That's where we will bring this tale to a close. And in 2 weeks, we're off next week, we'll have a rerun of this episode for JD to remember. And we will be back in 2 weeks with the Hargard arc, where the group is heading into Voldrock space, trying to find the Vault of Beatrice, figuring out what the Raven's Vault is, but perhaps with a little more hope, a little more light, a little less sorrow. So I would like to thank, first of all, Lily for agreeing to do this sort of spotlight episode on her to kind of help. We had been talking ever since Phlegathon of like how traumatic that experience was for Perpetua, and how Lily was like, Perpetua really needs to kind of deal with this. And Father Bell has been in chat thanks to Evan. And there have been several times that Father Bell's voice has been heard. And I'd like to thank Evan for showing up and joining us on this journey. I would also like to thank our good friend Bob Crum, who did a new version of Father Bell for this episode, Ascending the Mountain of Purgatory. So if you like what we do, if you like Ulysses games, please consider subscribing, turn on notifications, follow them on YouTube, follow them on all places where media is social. They have a just spectacular community manager who you'll get to engage with. And as always, thank you to JD, our producer, and to Phantom as our moderator. We will be back on Tuesday with a brand new arc for Torque and a brand new guest. If you are a patron of Iconic Production, you may have seen a postery image of who this special new Storm Knight will be. I know the last several weeks have been really emotional and really rough for the crew of the Oh Boy, and all I can say is that Hargard will be not that. It's going to be, wire blades and laser pistols and beast riding
Swamp gun.
through the forests of Voldroxy space. So come back in 2 weeks to enjoy that journey with us. We are wrapping up all of our campaigns this year, and we'll be starting new campaigns in January. And as soon as I get the leave to tell you what the games will be, I will be glad to share that with people on stream. But I will say the crew of the Oh Boy, while the crew of the Oh Boy's journey will be over, those players will be involved in the next campaign. So if you like what we do, check us out on Iconic Production. If you like what Ulysses does, please consider following them. Jump in on Tuesday night to enjoy the Torg Eternity campaign. Return in 2 weeks for more Fading Suns. Chat, you are wonderful. I had you up on the side. I always enjoy reading your dialogue and your discussions, but tonight was a very sort of intimate game, and I wanted to stay focused on them. So thank you to Lily and Evan. Thank you to the absent members of the Oh Boy. I look forward to having all of you back together in 2 weeks. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. Have a good one.